I'm back with another new episode of the StyleBeasting podcast with me, Delton Wall. This episode was supposed to come out last week, but due to Kentaro's passing, I had to do that because Berserk's my shit, and that shit really meant something a lot to me. But back at the topic at hand, on a serious matter, and I guess on the back end and the front end, it's something that needs to be said and spoke about. It's really came to a front with the whole Joe Budden podcast ending, with him, Rory, Mal, and Parks splitting up. Well, just Rory and Mal splitting up, and Joe Ice, Ish, and Parks and everybody else still being there. And man, let me tell you, those were some well, let me start at what the topic at hand is about. The topic of today's episode: can friends do business with one another? And like I said, this is all coming up from the topic at hand. Speak of the Joe Budden thing, which everybody's known that people who don't normally stay together, but that whole incident was a little dicey and kind of nasty. And I'm not here to talk about the Joe Budden podcast. I'm just using that as a branch off topic in a greater topic at hand, in the whole, can friends actually do business with one another? And yes, you can. Now, on my end, I've always wanted to do business with friends, and I'm never down it. It's just, it's always something in my back of my mind when it comes to doing business with friends. And it's not a negative thing. It's more along a greater thing that doesn't get brought up because we're friends, and arguing about money is something. When you're broke, you really are not going to argue about money. Well, some people do, because we're all broke. What's the point of us arguing about us having money, speaking on money that we don't have? Like, what is that? And excuse my being like everywhere for these last 2 episodes. I got a new phone and I haven't transferred all my notes for these last couple of episodes over, and going from my Android to an iPhone is really daunting, and putting all my stuff back on has been, it wasn't egregious. It was just like, damn, I have to do this. But I digress. But back to the topic at hand. Working together with friends is a good thing. We saw now many of groups have not flourished in the past couple of generations. Well, has it been generations? Yeah, that last couple of generations. But many of groups have not flourished, but some groups have. Now, the ones that have flourished are way less than the ones that have not flourished, due to growth differences, money issues, life changes, or passing ons, or habits changing. Now, this comes to the tail end because you want everybody to be in, but at a certain point, if it's not something that is I won't say pertaining, but it won't. Damn it, I'm trying to figure out how to say this, because it's a very touchy topic, because you don't want to come off as, oh, I don't want to do business with my friend, but there are things you have to think about before you go into business with friends, especially if it's not your business up front, or you're working, or it's not like we're all in at the same level. Like it's your idea, but we're just helping out, helping build it together as a team. And that's the thing that needs to be said first. Is it something that is all of us together and we're on equal footing, or is this your idea and we're just building it up together as a friend, as friends? And that, I guess that kind of happened because it happened on the Joe Budden podcast. Like, I guess, yeah, I guess I can. Well, I guess I might as well use this as a jumping off point and to give context to what this topic is. Now, Joe, Roy, Mal have been doing the podcast for, I think, 7 years. Roy came in at episode 7, Mal 77, and they've been doing it together for these past couple years. Now, recently, like 2-3 weeks ago, they split up due to accounting issues, respect issues, and different stuff that went on in it. I'm not gonna go all over everything because it's already been repeated multiple times. There's no need for me to run through the whole thing. If you want to look it up, you can. Like I said, I'm not gossiping. Well, it's not gossip; it's the truth. But I'm not. This is me. The focal point of why they split up. Well, that's actually, yeah. No. I don't know. It can be the focal. It should be the focal point, but in a sense, it's not, because yeah, actually, yeah, no, yeah, S is the focal point. So yeah, I might as well go over it. But yeah, might as well. So actually, so if you've been under a rock lately, the Joe Budden podcast split up, and it was something that was predetermined by many of people, Ebro, especially by Charlemagne himself multiple times, but it happened. And at first we got Joe's side. We told Joe told us that he told Rory to sit out a couple episodes, and then Maul ended up signing with Rory, and they had their beef and they didn't come for a couple episodes, and Joe by himself just said fire Rory when he or Maul was not there. He didn't fire Maul. He said since he know Maul more, he'll say he'll talk it out with Maul. But when it came to Rory, he just flat out said, fuck it. You're fired. And me personally, this is before all the information that was given and was privy to us after Maul and Rory's response came out. But I'll get to that later. We got in there. Joe told us that he was taking a lot of risk and a lot of shit when the pandemic hit, that he had to dig into some money and had to put in some, and that Rory was ungrateful. And it was a lot of messy shit. That whole week was crazy. Like, niggas was going off on Rory and Maul for that shit. Fucking everybody had they think pieces and shit. I mean, this is a think piece too, but this is not a think piece in, I guess, shitting on them. This is just a think piece speaking on the topic at hand in general, not about them at all, what their business is. But yeah, they split apart, and Joe started a new Well, he's kept the podcast the same, but he added icing. It's like it was like friends of his from a while back, like longer friends than I think Maul and Rory were, because I think, well, Maul was there like around episode 77, and Rory was there episode 7. And the information that we got was that niggas didn't read the contracts, and niggas didn't like try to talk it out. But within, I say, a week, we got Rory's and Maul's side of the story. And, well, I guess, yeah, I'm not going to, because Maul says the truth, but we don't know 100% what happened ourselves. All we know is this is what you told, all we know is what both you and Joe told us. And from what they said, there was $400,000 missing in their accountant. They couldn't really see their accountant, and when they tried to, they didn't get the proper accounting documents. They just got a spreadsheet. And some people are saying, "Oh, that's what accounting is," but I think when they want to, we're talking about accounting, I think they wanted a full out thing from that from like a year or two. Now, what Rory and Maul told us was that Rory did the first couple of covers. That wasn't the greatest, but they did them. He was doing fuck, what did he say he was doing? Hold on. He said he was doing the promo and stuff for it too. And he was also helping with the ads too, finding some ads too, because I remember it was an episode where he was wear me undies. That funny ass clip where Rory was like, I had to find this, where's my undies fucking advertisement. And I was like, oh, okay. So even though that's one out of like hundreds of stuff, that's still Joe not telling the full truth, because he did find advertisement. I remember that whole line, because Rory even said it's going to be hard to find advertisers who were just making fun of the advertisement, fun of the advertiser of himself. And they both made, I will say this, both Joe and Roy and Maul made good points. Joe was right, as in, you guys should have had more stuff on you, as in, when Joe always jokingly said this, but he was like, hey, you guys should start, Maul should start For the Love of Maul type podcast, because when they were doing their tours, they would always do For the Love of Maul, and or some of his horrible sports takes that Maul normally has, and Roy, something for him too. Now, because that's something that you own. But I will say the way that he handled it was wrong. As in, like, I don't need to talk to my friends about the business that I own, that even though we're all a part of. And the stuff that he was going on it just sounded like it wasn't Joe. Like, it was really fucked up. And that whole week, I swear to you, it was just like, I don't know what the fucking YouTube algorithms were, but I forgot her name. Melissa. She was on the first couple episodes. There was a No Jumper video clip where she was talking about how she left Joe Budden shit, and the way she was talking about was like, he just ghosted her, and just basically he ghosted her and didn't like give it any specific reason. Like, he just like said, don't come back. And I was like, damn, he did that to her? Because I remember seeing her in the first couple of episodes. Like, I wasn't watching Joe Budden's podcast from the first episode, early episodes. Like, I caught it after he almost got jumped by the whole QC guys. Like, I started then, but I did go back and look at some older stuff that he had. and looked at all the funny clips of her and him and Rory and Maul when he jumped in. Well, by the time he jumped in, I think she was gone. But it was just crazy. Like, I don't know if it was like freaking the algorithms going against Joe, but I did see some academics clips where he was defending Joe and going hard on Rory and Maul, which I will say, if the stuff that academics say is true, that's crazy. But if it's not true, I don't know. I don't know. But I will say Rory and Maul were right. Like, hey man, he was treated like the way Joe was trying to treat the business as it was him, like it was just him, not them as a group. I will say that is kind of messed up. And I will say it's also messed up that Joe wasn't transparent as he always says he is. Now, I'm not saying he has to be perfect. Nobody's saying anybody's perfect. But to come and to come, because I'm this because we all make mistakes, and he also addressed it and said he did made a mistake in what he did. But to talk about how labels treat artists and treat your mans like this is totally crazy. Like, even if it was just about the fucking uh shit, the accountant, I would have been like, okay, it's kind of labelish, but I would be like, all right, some stuff might have went down. But to be like, to treat them like, just to treat them that way and to talk about them that way, as in like they wasn't there for you, that was just crazy, man. And like the way Rory was talking about how every time that Joe would bring up how, well, no, not Rory, how Maul, when he's brought up, every time we talk about counting, he'll just get like mad aggressive. He'll talk about, he said, if hey, I'll take you to court if you guys try to make another podcast. Like, well, like, and I will say that's another thing too that I will fleck Maul on. Maul's, what is it? What is it? What? I'm trying to find the fucking word. His morals are can be a hindrance, because holding somebody to the same kind of a testament that you would, how you wouldn't treat anybody dirty, like how you would carry yourself. Not everybody does that. Not everybody like says it, be truthful about it. Like, I understand that that's my man, that's my boy. Like, he wouldn't do us like that, but the naivete, as in, and I won't even say like he should be, that he should have thought Joe was going to do him like this. Just be aware. And I guess that's another thing that I really am trying to bring up too. Always be aware of not your friends trying to shit you. Just be aware and try to find a middle ground to talk about these things with your friends. Because if you're going to business with your friends, this communication is very key when it comes to in the business. And if just because we're boys doesn't mean that we're gonna always gonna have the same opinion on stuff, or we're gonna carry ourselves the same way as said person will. And that's what happened to the Joe Budden podcast. People's views started changing. The growth, the way the people carried themselves, and way the mindset got a little different. And you can even tell it, because I didn't pick up on it until I went back and checked the older shit. Like, the vibes started looking a little different. Everybody didn't really look as happy as the earlier Spotify shit. And even though they were going through on the Spotify, you could tell after they left Spotify, it didn't look as friendly as it normally does. And that's why I never wanted to happen with doing business with my friends. I didn't want us to do business and we get to a point where we're like up there and we start losing the happiness for what we're doing. Like if we're just doing this, we're not just going to start a business just to not make money. That's stupid. But if we lose the love of what we're doing it for and why we did it in the first place, and it starts and our views start getting different and changing, it might not be for the better. And this is why I always was hesitant in doing business with my friends, because I never know. I'm kind of like hesitant and scared of the future because I don't know what if we do get this off. Are we gonna be like changed for the worse and end up like some of the groups in the past where we just fight it out? It just gets nasty and we don't even like. We get to a point where it's just bad blood and we can't even like talk to one another because it just got to that bad point. And heaven forbid, if we pass away, we can never say sorry or we can never apologize for what happened in that period. And that's why, even though people say, money is the root of all evil. Like, even though money, that whole quote of money doesn't bring happiness, it's a lie. It's a pseudo lie, but there's truth in it, because in a grand scheme of things, happiness should be without any monetary, without having like, you should be happy for what, it's hard to say you should be, because who am I to say you should be happy with being alive or with nothing, or not nothing, but you should settle for what you have and be happy. I'm not saying that. I'm trying to say being happy for what you have and being happy for what you can get. Damn, it's hard. I don't know how to say this because this is mad hard to explain this, because I don't know. Now, I'm not trying to say I don't know what it is to be happy. I just don't know what everybody's difference of happiness is. And I think that's what I'm really trying to say. Everybody has different levels of happiness and different levels of what they want in life. Some people want to be rich and famous and be able to do everything they want. Some people want to have money but be low, and some people just want for nothing. Some people are happy and content. That's the fucking word I was thinking about, content. Some people are content with what they have, and if they do get more, they're not going to be in denying of it. Not going to be like, oh no, I'm fine. Like, hey, thank you, I appreciate that, thank you. But they're not trying to, and I don't want to say like they're not trying to shoot for more and greatness, but they're not rushing towards it like everybody else. Like, to be honest with you, my generation, even though I love how everybody's getting to the money, people are just I feel like everybody's just in it for the money. And hey, I'm not nobody to critique anybody. Hey, if you're in a situation where you need the money and you gotta get to the money, get it. I don't know your situation. Your situation could be worse than mine. I don't know it. If you need that money, you get into that money, get it. Get that money. Be safe and be mindful of your surroundings. That's the only thing I would say. Get your money, cuz. But I feel like we're all in it for the money instead of in it for the happiness. I feel like we lost the happiness. I hear more niggas say get to the bag instead of be happy. Like when when the hell did we just say fuck happiness and just say, I gotta get money. But that's the way life is. It's sometimes our environment turns us into, we have to get the bag. Like, yeah, I'm sad, but fuck it, we gotta get the money. Like, I can be sad all day, but I'm gonna be broke sad. I'm gonna be broke happy. I mean, I'm gonna be rich sad. Like that shit. And I don't think this has anything to do. Well, yeah, I don't think this has to do with friends and, well, yeah, it does have to do with fucking money, because you have to get, yeah, it does have to do with money. Fuck it, what I'm saying. It's a rough road. It's a rough road with doing business with friends, but there's been plenty of people who still can work together as a team to get to the bag. And I'm not saying I would never do business with my friends. I support my friends fully. You know who you are, and you know I support all my friends fully. And if we ever want to do business, I'm right there with you, and you know I'm always gonna put my 100% in it. If you gonna put your 100% in it, damn it, I'm gonna be right there with you to match that energy. Because if you trying to get to a certain goal, and as a friend, it is my obligation as a friend to see you be the best you can be, no matter what it is. Now, if it's harming you, I won't. Now, I can't do that. But if it's bettering you and to get you in a better place, my nigga, you got me 125%. And if you need anything, you know how to reach me. I don't have to even say who you are or the group. You know who you are. If you need me, you know how to reach me. I love you guys no matter what. And you know it. I may not call all you guys or talk to all you guys a lot, but damn it, I love you guys and I want you to know that. I want everybody to be able to still be friends and get to the money. I know growth changes with money and our views change with it. But let's sit down and have a thought out conversation before we jump into an ocean that we don't know. Because if we just openly just say yes and we just not taking steps and precautions for our future friendship with this bag, then we're just jumping in and not knowing what's going to happen. Be prepared. Thank you guys for listening. Little tidbit of information. Pretty soon, I know I say this before a lot, but now that I have a better camera on my phone, I'm actually going to start recording now with video. So I'm not going to give you a date, but I'm working on that soon. And in probably next episode, I'm going to have an announcement for the pod. To have a great day, and thank you guys for listening, and have a great rest of the week. See ya.